Hey guys, it's Leesh, and welcome to another episode of Car Confessions. Guys, kind of caught me off guard. I was drinking a little water there before I started. If you're on YouTube, you might have saw it, but either way, it's fine. What's happening, guys? How are you doing? Hopefully, you're doing well. I am recovering from losing my voice. I went to see Kendrick Lamar in concert last Thursday. Had a blast. It was for my birthday. My birthday was on Saturday. So last week was it was just a really fun week. I had a really good time. The Kendrick Lamar concert, guys, unreal. Like, unreal. That man, like, I just don't even know what to say. Like, it was him and SZA that were in concert together. And, like, I feel like, a little old when it comes to knowing a lot about SZA. Because, I mean, I know her popular songs, but I don't know a lot about her. Um, just her other music that is normally not played on the radio. So it was good to hear that and just to hear how diverse she is when it comes to her music styling. When you think of like certain genres, like she's just so like um, versatile that you just can't really box her in, which I love even more. Because it's like, wow, like she's just who she is. So it's really cool to experience that. Um, but yeah, K Dot, the truth. He's so fire. He's so fire. And I know a lot of people, they're not into rap. They're not into especially the type of rap that, that he produces. It's a bit more controversial, but it speaks so much truth, at least to me, and for people that I know that love him and love the work that he does. So it was great. It was an amazing time. And if you haven't ever seen Kendrick Lamar in concert, oh my gosh, please run, don't walk, and get your tickets. He's amazing. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what's happening here. I don't know where this car, I think it's turning. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. I know y'all heard that. I didn't want to be the one because, it's car confession trying to talk to y'all, but this car, I don't know what the heck they were doing. Anyway, we're on the move here, guys. Um, my eyes itching. Anyway, so last week was great. I had a really good time, and there's just not much more to say about it. I mean, there's a lot I could say, but it's just like, wow. I will say some more. Scratch that. I am. There were so many moments during that concert where it was just like, oh my gosh, I love being black, full stop. Because the experience of being black, especially in this country, it is so complex. And depending on your actual journey as a black person, it can vary, right? As it relates to like what you experience, how you see the world. But as a collective, I would want to say, and listen, I could be wrong. I don't want to speak for every black person in the United States of America, but I will say, I feel like our core understanding amongst one another is unmatched. And I'm not going to like go into detail about it because if you know, you know. There's just certain things that we do, certain things that we say, mannerisms that we have that are nonverbal cues that allow us to communicate with one another in ways. And maybe other races have this. I just know that because I'm a black person and I experience this as a black person. And so it's just wild. And then also to see so many similarities in what is it, similarities? I say similarities, but just so many um, things that he brought up about our culture in during the concert that was just like, wow. There's so many. For so long, many people are put in this position where they felt like, the black race was just, not the best, right? We're lowest on the totem pole. I can't think of a word. It's just losing me. I'm losing it right now. But anyway, basically that we just weren't, we were lazy. We're ghetto. We are this. We are that. At the same time, it's like none of us that were told this information, we never questioned it, right? Or maybe some of us did. I'm not, like I said, I'm not speaking for everybody. And the thing is, I knew growing up that that wasn't the case, right? I knew that. I knew that I came from people that were amazing people that did a lot of awesome things, but you know that, and at the same time, society is telling you something completely different. So you're just constantly in this state of like almost wrestling with yourself. Like, okay, are these things true? Who's lying to me? Which, like, are my people lying to me? Are these, people in society telling the truth? Like, what the hell's going on? And then obviously, luckily I come around to knowing that it was true that I am from a amazing, lineage of people who are hard workers, who have integrity, who will go the extra mile for people that they love and care about. Even people they don't know, they'll do all that they can to help them. Kind people, you know. Um, and so it's just so amazing to see an art form that allows you to experience all those things in one concert, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like all the love that Black people have, all the intelligence, all the grit, all the rawness and authenticness, I guess you want to say it that way, that we have as people, it was all expressed in that concert, in my opinion. Seriously. And it like brings me to this whole thing where I've been seeing like on TikTok. They might be on other social media platforms too, but I'm normally on TikTok, keep it a buck here. But this whole thing about Black fatigue, guys. So I've gone down this whole rabbit hole of Black fatigue, which I think is crazy to say the least. Because initially, I was under the impression that Black fatigue, from what I know before this whole trend even started, was that Black people are just tired of the systemic racism in this country and on a global scale. Because I mean, we can take Black fatigue beyond America. It's just Black people all over this world are treated in some really terrible ways. And so I just assumed it was Black fatigue either on a national or global scale, one of the two, you know? So that's what I thought it was. And I'm hearing that there are certain, either there are a lot of them are white people, but there's also people of color, like some Black people, some brown people, who are talking about they're tired of Black fatigue. They're experiencing Black fatigue as well. And so you might be thinking, well, what the hell is Black fatigue? Well, based off my understanding of it is, people are tired of seeing what they're considering ghetto and ratchet behavior from certain Black people, like online, in the entertainment world, and they're just just being exposed to Blackness in a way that just doesn't suit them, right? It's just interesting to me that one have decided to make this their conversation, that not even so much their conversation, but like their hill to die on. You know what I'm saying? Like, Black fatigue, seriously, it's beyond me. And if you're tired of seeing what you're considering ratchet and ghetto entertainment or ratchet and ghetto things on social media, wherever you're experiencing this Black fatigue or you're seeing Black things that are making you fatigued, just don't look at it, right? Like no one is actually putting a gun to your head. I'm pretty sure they're not, and saying you must watch all this stuff in order to live, right? No one's doing that. Scroll to the next thing, change the channel. Matter of fact, turn the TV off, as Kendrick says. Seriously, like the things that certain people are like creating grievances over, it speaks volumes to what is really a struggle in your life and what isn't. You know what I'm saying? Because like if this is the biggest thing that's happening in your life, Black fatigue, I mean, you're doing pretty good in my book. Because you seeing Sexy Red on your television, your cell phone, Glorilla, my girl, actually Sexy Red and Glorilla, I love both of them. You're just seeing things that just you feel aren't appropriate for you, are causing you fatigue. I challenge you. I totally challenge you. Because my thing is, if this is supposed to be, which we know that, and I've known this for years, that this country is not quote unquote free. If this is supposed to be a free country and we're supposed to just live and do what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to do, say what we want to say, this, that, and the other, if that's really this country, then what's wrong with you seeing other people live freely, live the way they want to? It might not be what you like, but how is this causing you any strife? I just don't understand it. It's hilarious to me in so many ways. And I actually posed this on TikTok. I posted, and listen, there's so many people on there just talking about it. It's hilarious, or commenting rather, good and bad. I welcome it all because I'm like, listen, you got to say what you got to say. But it's funny because the people that are, providing this real resistance, and they're just so upset about Black fatigue. When I go to their pages and I see, what they post, it's comical and sad and ignorant, a lot of it. And I was like, oh, this makes sense. This makes a lot of sense. And, when it comes to stuff like that, I can't even get myself upset. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I go and I see what these people's, um, based off their social media, right? Based off their social media, I'm seeing, look at this weirdo. I'm telling you, these people on this drive, it takes me all the way out. Anywho, when I see their stuff on social media and, I put it in my head, okay, clearly this is how this person is and operates based off what they've posted. And then I go back to what they've actually commented on my actual. Okay, come on over, my friend. These cars, I'm telling you, they're driving. It's raining here in New York. And when it rains here in New York, people act like they don't know how to drive. Oh, it blows my mind. I'm like, it rains every once in a while, right? And if you can't drive in the rain, just don't drive. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I digress. But yeah, all that to say, back on the other subject here, Black fatigue. You know, it's just crazy when I see these comments, right? Listen, I go back, I look at their page, and I'm just like trying to put as many puzzle pieces together as I can. Like I said, I just can't even be mad. So I'm like, you're struggling. You're struggling. I'm not dismissing any ignorance that you're, spewing, because that's ridiculous. But I know at the same time you are struggling hard body. Like, you are really going through it because you are not the center of attention, right? You're not being you're not being put in those positions that you're used to being put in. Where, or just your actual, white people, right? Because, when we think of certain things in this in media, and we see white people. It was funny, I was telling my daughter one day, we were looking at stuff from like the 80s and 90s. I was showing her commercials and different things from back then, and I looked over at my wife and I was like, oh my god, as we're looking at these commercials and stuff, I was like, growing up, we didn't see any we rarely saw Black people on television. And back then television was basically it for us when it came to entertainment. Unless you went to the movies and stuff like that. But like overall, on a daily, you're gonna watch TV, when you grew up in the 80s, those times. And I was like, wow, we hardly saw Black people on TV. And then you take it back even further and you keep going back and back and back, as it relates to, this whole trajectory of television. This time that we're in right now is probably the most diverse, um, you know, groups of people that you see on TV. And so when you've been put in the forefront since almost the beginning of time, when it comes to the exposure of like people in general, and then out of nowhere you're not seeing what you're used to seeing, it can be a little jarring. Do I have sympathy? No, because why? What? Like, this is crazy to me. So I get how some people could possibly be completely thrown and may have Black fatigue. But do I sympathize, empathize, any of the sizes? No. Because my thing is this: you not constantly being at the forefront or seeing things culturally that you want to see on a consistent basis, because those things are evolving and changing, and more people from different cultures and races and things of that nature are being represented. That's not something to be in mourning about. That's not something to be so upset about. And literally, a lot of this, that's what it is. This whole black fatigue thing, it's all about the fact that what was is not anymore. You know what I'm saying? Those days of always seeing white people at the forefront of entertainment, of sports, of whatever, it has over the years has been chipped away, and we're seeing more diversity and representation in ways that we've never seen it before. And so people can go back and be like, oh, well, Leesh, some black people were also, and some brown people were also complaining about this. And you know what? I'm not surprised. Because when you've been conditioned in this type of society to think that white is right, and that's the only thing that should be displayed, the characteristics and mannerisms and ways of, white culture, if that's supposed to be the only way to do things, the proper way to do stuff, the protocols and procedures that were presented to us for so long, when you've been conditioned to think that that's the right thing, you could possibly experience this so-called black fatigue too, because everything you've ever been told is really not true. And there are other ways of doing things. There's other ways of living and being. Because here's the thing too. When I was talking to some folks on TikTok, in the comments, some of the people were saying, "Well, it's not just about black people. It's ghetto fatigue. Ghetto fatigue. Stop playing with me. Stop it. Quit it. We're done." Because my thing is, okay, if you're trying to pacify it as quote unquote ghetto fatigue, when you think of ghetto, who are you thinking about? Right? You're not thinking about some Southeast Asian person or some white dude from, you know, Evansville, Indiana. You're thinking about black people. And it doesn't matter that you or that, a black person that can present a certain way or talk a certain way. Because here's the thing, I don't talk quote unquote ghetto, but I guarantee if there was a situation where ghetto-ness was a part of the conversation and I happened to be the face, no one would doubt it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one would doubt, like, oh, I don't think she's ghetto. You see me, you see some type of ghetto jargon, you say, oh, this is ghetto. Boom. Unfortunately, some people are going to be like, you're right. Black face, black person, why wouldn't it be ghetto? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't come to me trying to say, oh, it's just the ghetto fatigue. Because even I can argue that too. Because it's like, okay, what is ghetto? What is so ghetto about people being themselves? We have been so demonized in this country as it relates to how we express ourselves, how we present, with our expressions and this and that. And do I express myself in that way? No, I don't. That's just not me. That's not Leash. I've never been that kind of person. But do I appreciate people? Do I celebrate people who are like that? Yes. Because I have people in my family that are like that. I mean, what? You know, I have people that I interact with on a daily basis with, and that are good, friends and family members of mine that are like that. So to say, oh, that's why people are so fatigued, it's like, then you're fatigued of people that I love, then you're fatigued of people that I truly care about. You're fatigued of people, humans, that just don't do things the way that you do. Guess what? You're not 5 years old. You're not having to be taught, I hope. Well, you're going to learn today, I guess. You shouldn't have to be in a position where it's like, I don't like that you're doing that because that's not what I normally do, right? That's basically what this is. It's like, you don't approve of somebody else's way of doing things because it's not the way you have been told how you're supposed to do things. And even go a step further, when you think of the quote unquote ghetto people and the people that are out here twerking and the people who are out here doing all types of stuff that is hilarious to me. I listen, I wish I could twerk. My body's just not set up for that. It is what it is. I digress. But when you see those things on TV, I think, and I could be wrong, I think secretly, because listen, like I said, I wish I could twerk. I wish I could crip walk. There's so many things I would love to do. But like I said, my body's just not, my body doesn't move like that. If you could teach me, yo, kudos. Anyway, But I think for some people, it's that thing of they're jealous because these people are living in their truth. They're living in who they are authentically, and they are enjoying themselves at the same time. And it's like, how could you, quote unquote, enjoy yourself when you're not following the quote unquote rules of white supremacy and how things are supposed to be set up in this, race based country? That made sense. You know what I'm saying? It's completely blowing the plan of how things are supposed to be. Black people aren't supposed to have joy in ways that don't map the status quo. And because you see these black people having joy, doing things in ways that you're not used to, it's fucking you up. And to that I say, get over it. Because let people live. Let people live. You don't have to be the center of attention. Your ways don't have to be the center of everything. Other people can do things that they want to do, live their lives, and just keep it pushing. You don't run people. And I think it's another thing for especially a lot of people who are in this mindset that feel so offended and appalled and fatigued. Like, why do you feel like you need to run and, tell these people what to do? Do you want people to do that to you? Like, think about things that you like doing. Do you want someone telling you, I'm fatigued, this needs to stop, blah, blah, blah? No, you don't. You want to continue doing whatever the hell it is that you like doing. I mean, it's just common sense, guys. It's common sense. You would think. You would think. But common sense, I've heard this so many times. Common sense is not common. And it's apparent in this black fatigue situation. And so all this to say, guys, to all my people who twerk, who are out here, crip walking, who are out here just, and not even just those things, who are out here just living their best lives, being loud, being what they consider ratchet. I say continue on being yourself. Don't let anybody change you. Don't let anybody change you. Be you. And if you're uncomfortable with people being themselves, then keep your ass at home. Scroll past their video. Turn the channel. You know what I'm saying? Let people live. We are living in some crazy ass times. And for this to be your hill to die on, it's beyond me. Like I said before, it just speaks volumes to the fact that you really don't have the problems that you think you have. You know what I'm saying? Let humans live the way they want to live. If they're twerking, if they're, being, their authentic selves and being, blackety black, as, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That probably wasn't the right way to say that. But the point of it is, you know what I'm talking about. And if that makes you uncomfortable, whatever, dude. Whatever. I love it. I love seeing people live their best lives. And like I said, if you have an issue with it, that's something you need to take up with yourself and your therapist if you have one. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous. And long live the folks that are living their true selves, because they're the ones that are really happy, and they're not apologizing for being themselves, and that's stellar. That's amazing to me. Yeah. All right, guys, it's raining. I'm about to head up in this house real quick, cook. But if you are some of these people who are, judging folks for being themselves, take a good look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I judging these people? Because there's something else that you're not dealing with, some bigger fish that you need to fry within your own situation, because this has nothing to do with them and all to do with yourself. Seriously. All right, guys. Like I said, I made it home. I hate that it's raining the way it is, but some people say rain's good luck. So let's rain down the good luck. Good luck, good luck. And let's continue to allow people to be themselves, myself included. Hey, seriously. And listen, like I always say, let's just keep on keeping on. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next week. All right.